All right, so here we're gonna work backwards. So what it means is that you just have to do some algebra to actually use the formula, but find a variable on the right side of the formula, so to speak. Okay, so Tom and Sarjeet have just completed the mortgage brokerage in British Columbia course. In order to become mortgage brokers, there were 175 people in the course. Okay, so we have to if 90 of the students scored lower than Tom in the course, what was his percentile rank? Okay, so this might already be solved for you. If so, good for you. Just follow along. PR, and there's 90 students who scored lower than Tom, right? So 90 goes here, and there's 175, and you would just go like this. And let me just see what this amounts to. This is 51.43, but you can't leave it like that, so it's approximately 52nd percentile. Okay, that's Tom's. B, if 50 of the students scored higher than Sarjeet, so they're gonna trick you a little bit. 50 of the students scored higher than Sarjeet. 3 got the same score as him. What was his percentile rank? So we're talking Sarjeet now, okay? You want lower. How many scored lower, right? So you have to uh, use what you know here. If there were 175 people, okay, you have to for sure take off Sarjeet, okay, because you have to take that off. You have to take off how many scored higher than him, and you have to take off how many scored the same as him. So this is Sarjeet, right? This is Sarjeet. These are higher, and these are the same. If you were to take off all these numbers from the total 175, you are left with whoever scored less than. You take away Sarjeet himself, take away the ones that scored the same, which is technically 4 that you have to take off, and the 50 that scored higher. And you still have to keep the 175 here because that's the total. So times 100. So PR would be, this would be 121 over 175 times 100, and that gives you 69.14, which is approximately the 70th percentile. And some of you, if you have the textbook, these answers might be slightly off. That is okay. I'll tell you a little secret. You could actually round down to 69th percentile, still be fine because you're using a whole number. The province would accept that. They would not accept the percentage symbol at the end. That they would not. So you gotta watch out for that. Okay. What can you say about how Tom and Sarjeet scores compared to one another? Okay, so here you have to look at their percentile ranks and just uh, talk about it, right? Okay, so what you can say is that based on this, right? If you rank them from lowest to highest, right? 52nd would be right about here, just above 50. And 70th would be somewhere over here. So Sarjeet, right? Sorry, it's Sarjeet, and this is what was the other name? Tom. Sarjeet did better than Tom. Okay, we can definitely say that since Sarjeet's PR is higher, he did better than Tom overall. Can we tell what their actual score was on that test? We cannot. In fact, they could have been so close. They could have been just separated by a few points or a few percentages on that test. We don't know that. We don't have enough information. Okay, so we don't know by how much. Okay, we don't know, did he do 10% better, 5% better, was it just 1% better? Because sometimes the values can be so close together, but you still have to count them as lower, right? And then that just doesn't give you enough information as to how they actually did on the test, just compared to everybody else. All right, here we are continued on page 136, and it's build your skills section, right? If 2,000 people wrote a college entrance exam and 385 scored lower than Peter, what's Peter's percentile rank? Okay, sometimes they're easy, sometimes they're not so easy, right? There's 2,000 total, 385 scored lower than Peter, so read these very carefully, but that's basically all that there's to it, and that is 19.25 or 20th percentile. Okay, that's it. Boris is selling a house in Saskatoon to move to Maple Creek to start a new job. If 250 houses were sold to Saskatoon, 150 cost more than Boris's house, and none were the same price as his house. So they have to kind of tell you that, right? Because you're interested in the lower, well, they have to tell you what is higher, what is the same, and how many are there. That's how you can find out how many are lower. What is the percentile rank for the selling price of Boris's house? So PR. Okay, we would go with 250 minus the ones that cost more than his, okay, minus 1, that's Boris's house itself, okay, and you have 250 total here, and so that would be 99. The top would end up being 99 over 250 times 100. Sorry, I forgot that here, times 100. Don't forget that. Okay, so technically all of this happens first and then times 100. And that gives you 39.6, but we can't leave it there, so 40th percentile. So 40% of houses are priced lower than Boris's house. Okay. Here you have an outdoor sporting goods store. They're selling different sizes. The table below indicates the number of pairs of each size sold in the past month. So a size 6.5, you sold 10. So initially, this almost looks like a weighted mean case, right? But we'll see soon. We'll keep reading. Donette bought herself size 7.5 plus what is the percentile rank? There it is, of her hand size. So there's 7.5 right here. So you have to be careful. How many, right? How many are have sizes that are smaller than 7.5? Well, you'd say 1 and 2. There's 2. No, this one involves, it tells you how many instances there are. So it's a bit of a weighted mean combination. Okay, so the PR, right? That'd be 35, right? 35 lower. So the 35 comes in here. Okay, 35 are less. And how many are there in total? Well, I kind of just go across here, add it all up, and there's 153 pairs in total that were counted, right? And so you get that, and this gives you 22.88, which is approximately the 23rd percentile. It's up to you if you want to add the percentile to it. Okay. Donette bought her son size 9 gloves. What is the percentile rank of her son's hand size? So here, sometimes it's just your creativity. How well are you at recognizing a pattern, right? We still have 133. There are 8 instances, 8 of size 9. You want everything less than that. So I'm just going to take 153, subtract 8 from it, and that will leave me with the rest, okay? There you go, times 100. So that amounts to 145 over 153 times 100. Okay, I'm just rewriting that, and that gives me 94.77, which is roughly 95th percentile. Okay, so there it is. Next, C, which is important, explain why percentile rank can never be 100% or greater. Okay, because PR tells you the percentage of data points that are less than the one being ranked, right? Right. It would be impossible for 100% of values to be lower than the greatest. Because you have to consider that item, which is part of the data set, even though it's the biggest value, it's included in the 100%. So you're not supposed to include it because you're only worried about values that are lower. So by definition, you could not have 100%. Okay, a hundredth percentile. You have to have 99 at the most. Okay, so that one is a definite fact.